Hi, welcome to Counterpunch with Trevor Loudon, the show that pushes back against the unfolding world communist revolution. Please like the show, share the show, subscribe to EPOCH TV. You'll see information here you'll never see anywhere else. Now, there's a lot of confusion out there amongst freedom lovers. A lot of people are looking at the Communist Party of China, the CCP, and they're extremely concerned. They look at China's reach, its economic expansion, its military buildup, its influence on foreign countries, politics and business, and they're very worried, as they should be. And then they look at the World Economic Forum with crazy Klaus Schwab saying things like, you will have nothing and you will be happy. And world leaders flocking to join in with this man and go to his big forums, etc. And they see this as globalism. This is going to be a sort of big global push for governance, and it's pretty scary stuff. And that's worrying. But what people don't seem to understand is both of these phenomena are connected. It's not globalism over here and communism over here. Globalism and communism are two manifestations of the same phenomenon, and I would contend that communism is the senior partner in this enterprise. On June 24th, 2022, China's President Xi Jinping proposed a global gathering of youth in a bid, quote, to pool as much strength as possible for the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This is the United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development. The UN's 2030 Agenda seeks to fundamentally transform the global economy and has been implicated in drastic farming restrictions across the globe that have destabilized food systems around the planet, causing major unrest in countries like Sri Lanka, the Middle East, etc. Xi Jinping made his proposal for this massive meeting of youth during a meeting on global development with presidents and high-level officials from 18 countries, including President Syed Ibrahim Raisi of Iran, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of Egypt, and of course, President Vladimir Putin of Russia, to name a few. And just to be clear, Russia and China aren't separate phenomenon either. Xi and Putin are allies. They have been since 2001 at least, when they set up the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is a political, economic and military alliance. Russia and China hold joint military exercises together. They did Zapad 18 in 2018 outside St. Petersburg, Russia, the largest military exercise in world history. They held a joint naval exercise within spitting distance of Hawaii. They did another one in the North Indian Ocean. Putin even delayed his invasion of Ukraine so Xi could finish his moment of glory at the Olympics. But back to Xi Jinping's plans for world youth. The 2022 World Youth Development Forum was held from July 21st to the 23rd this year in Beijing. It brought together 2,000 youth from across the world. It was organized and implemented by the All China Youth Federation, which sounds nice, but that organization is a federation of 14 youth groups led by, controlled by, the youth wing of the Communist Party of China. At this youth forum, along with high-level CCP officials, we had speakers including United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres and the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab.
It is an honor to send greetings to the young participants of the World Youth Development Forum. My thanks to the All China Youth Federation for hosting this important gathering.
I'm eager to see how the World Youth Development Forum will shape the youth agenda in China and the world. And I look forward to continuing to support young people to shape a better future.
In fact, the World Economic Forum is listed as a partner of the 2022 World Youth Development Forum on the organization's website, right alongside with the Communist Youth League of Cuba, the Moroccan Socialist Youth League, the Vietnam Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth League, the Youth League of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, the Lao People's Revolutionary Youth League, and the Russian Youth Agency. All of the youth groups invited to this forum were the communist wings of established pro-Chinese, pro-Russian communist parties. This was, even though it wasn't advertised as this, a communist gathering. The Young Communist League of Britain was represented. Here's Johnny Hunter, the National Secretary of the Young Communist League of Britain, a member of the Glasgow YCL for many years. He was at another youth conference a few years back, October 2017 in Sochi, Russia. That was all young communists there to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. And that event was organized and keynoted by Vladimir Putin, who told the assembled youth that the future was theirs. Go for it.
Спасибо. Спасибо, дорогие друзья. Приветствую всех вас в России на 19-м Всемирном фестивале молодежи и студентов на форуме юности планеты, самым представительным за всю его историю. Здесь, в Сочи, собрались почти 30 тысяч участников, гостей, волонтеров из более чем 180 государств мира со всех континентов планеты.
Now, founder and executive of the World Economic Forum, Mr. Klaus Schwab, is known for his vision of the so-called Great Reset, widely known as Build Back Better, and Joe Biden's picked that one up, and the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
We're now in the early stages of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The World Economic Forum is known for its annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland, and their desire to transform the world to suit their warped utopian vision. Klaus Schwab is known for telling citizens that they're going to be eating bugs. Envisaging a world where people have chips embedded in their brains. That sounds science fiction wacko stuff, but Klaus Schwab actually says this. This lunatic actually wants to turn people into cyborgs.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans nos topos. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
And world leaders flock to his meetings to be seen and to mingle and whatever. This is people flocking to an insane asylum, people. But Klaus Schwab does not work in a vacuum. The World Economic Forum has enormous influence across the planet. Their trained globalist flunkies hold prominent roles in governments, industries, and academia. Their World Youth Leadership Forum has recruited many future world leaders, including the Prime Minister of my own country, New Zealand, a former president of the World Socialist Youth, that's Jacinda Ardern.
Yes, actually, this notion to integrate young leaders is part of the World Economic Forum since many years. And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on. that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
Klaus Schwab's vision of stakeholder capitalism has deeply impacted industry, transforming corporations from a profit-based model to a social justice model, depending on government subsidies. This is the private-public partnership. This is government cooperating with business. And every intelligent person should realize that when you get the profit motive of the private sector mixed with the complete lack of accountability of the public sector, somebody's going to get screwed. And it's the public every single time. Private-public partnerships, stakeholder capitalism, that's just a way of bringing business into socialism.
And I conceptualize probably for the first time what is called now the multi-stakeholder concept, which means that business leaders should not only be accountable to and serve shareholders, but stakeholders, which means all those communities who have a stake in the company. And here, of course, you have governments, you have employees, you have trade unions, you have civil society, and so on. And that's the concept on which the World Economic Forum is built.
Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum is deeply embedded in American government. Through a little-known program known as the First Movers Coalition, the World Economic Forum has partnered with the U.S. State Department to manufacture a demand for so-called green products. Like we're all clamoring for green products, right? Well, according to the State Department and the World Economic Forum, yes, we are. And if we aren't, they will make sure we do.
Movers Coalition is, and I expect we already know. The First Movers Coalition is starting with more than 24 of the world's largest and most innovative companies. The coalition represents 8 major sectors that comprise 30% of the global emissions that we now are dealing with. Steel, shipping, aluminum, concrete, trucking, aviation, chemicals, and direct air capture. These companies will be critical partners in pushing for commercially viable alternatives to decarbonize these industrial sectors and more.
We've got Amazon on board with this, Apple, Bank of America, Boeing, and others. This is stakeholder capitalism, it's socialism, and it's bad, bad news. When he is not partnering with the American Department of State, Klaus Schwab is scheming with the Chinese Communist Party officials to remake the world. On July 20th, 2022, Klaus Schwab met virtually with Chinese Premier, and you have to forgive my pronunciation here, Li Keqiang. According to Xinhua News Agency, the official state press agency for the Communist Party of China, the Chinese Premier said, China appreciates the World Economic Forum's consistent focus on economic development and stronger cooperation with China. Klaus Schwab referred to the World Economic Forum's good partnership with China for more than 4 decades and affirmed that his organization is ready to deepen cooperation with China. There is no doubt that Klaus Schwab is deeply influenced by communism. He even has a bust of Vladimir Lenin, the founder of the Bolshevik Revolution, in his home office. President Xi is also a fan of Vladimir Lenin. During a speech marking the 100th anniversary of the Communist Youth League of China, the group that put on this World Development Conference, in May 2022, Xi quoted Lenin, who was himself quoting Karl Marx's co-conspirator Friedrich Engels. "We are the party of the future, and the future belongs to the youth," President Xi declared. Just like Vladimir Putin told the young communists assembled in Sochi in 2017, the future is yours, go for it. The World Economic Forum is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, and has offices in San Francisco, where else, and New York, where else, as well as Tokyo and, of course, Beijing. If the CCP, the Communist Party of China, collapsed tomorrow, the World Economic Forum would be nothing. It would be over. If, on the other hand, the World Economic Forum collapsed tomorrow, the Communist Party of China would just make another one. So what I'm trying to get at here, folks, is globalism is communism. Communism is globalism. Klaus Schwab is not this big threat unto himself. He is the puppet of Xi Jinping and the puppet of Vladimir Putin, the partners who want to take down the West. He is just a tool to achieve those ends. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope it's food for thought. I hope you'll do your own research. I'm sure you'll find the contentions I've made here will bear out. I'm sure you'll see that what I've told you is factual and truthful, but it's up to you to draw your own conclusions. We are facing a collectivist world. The real conflict in the world is between the individual and the collective. Do we want a world of national sovereignty and individual sovereignty where individual nations chart their own course and individual human beings run their own life? Or do we want a world run by the collective, where those in power have full say over everything we do in our life? I know what I want. I'm pretty sure I know what you want. And we have to face up to the fact that we're facing a communist enemy, a globalist enemy, and they're both basically just two masks of the same evil face. So fight for freedom, folks. Stand up with everything that you have and fight for your kids, fight for your country, fight for your God, fight for what you believe in. This could be our last chance. So thanks for watching. I hope you'll tune into the next episode. Subscribe to Epoch TV, like the show, share the show, and tune in next time. Thank you so much.